I think it's a bit confusing. If you look at the GDP growth numbers, I think they're getting influenced by demonetization to begin with and then the GST. So I think still some time to make out whether we are on the upward move or will it take some more time for that growth to happen. But the broad sense I'm getting is that we are kind of bottomed out, maybe a few more quarters and we'll see the growth picking up. On the inflation front, I think it's slightly more clear. Inflation looks to be clearly bottomed out and we'll see inflation moving up, both because of domestic factors and international factors. If you look at the oil prices, the way they are going up, if you look at the commodity prices, the way they are going up, the view on inflation is that I think slowly it will trend up. On the other macroeconomic variables like the fiscal deficit, there is a clear sign of a fiscal deficit going up as compared to what the numbers were budgeted with. Because of the slightly weaker growth, I think government will spend more money than what it budgeted for. If you look at, say, current account deficit, again, there's some chance of current account deficit moving up because the way the oil prices are going up and the imports are picking up. So I think in some sense, the best of macro for India is behind us. Obviously, they're not, by any standards, they're not bad numbers, but I think the best is behind us. All the macroeconomic variables on the incremental level will slightly be inching towards higher. That's my view. India was kind of immune to what happens in the foreign markets because foreigners were not allowed to invest in the domestic fixed income markets. Over the last few years, we have seen large amount of money which has been invested by the foreign investors in domestic fixed income. I think therefore there's a fair chance that when the US rate starts going up, I think there's a fair chance that there could be some selling which could happen. And because we have never seen this kind of amounts of money by foreign investors in India, I think it will be interesting to see at that point of time how much it gets impacted, the bond markets get impacted. But for sure it will get impacted, I don't know to what extent. Unfortunately, if it comes at a time when the government is increasing the fiscal deficit and therefore the government supply is going to increase and you have US rates going up, I think that both this combination put together, I think can have some impact. Now it's very difficult to quantify 10, 15, 25 basis point, but definitely it will be a negative impact for countries like India. Broad sense is that interest rates are bottomed out. Maybe you can see one more cut of 25 basis point, but after that we'll see the rates not coming down, the repo rate not coming down. And to that extent, I think broadly on a 10-year G-Sec basis, I think the rates are going to inch up. Plus, as I said, we have a view that fiscal deficit will go up from here. We have a view that the 10-year G-Sec yields can go up from here. So all in all, I think we will not see benign rates on the 10-year. We could see the 10-year rates kind of inching up. On the accrual side also that will impact the funds in some sense, but because the maturities are too small in accrual funds, those impacts will not be material impacts. So I think it would make more sense to be overweight accrual and a bit underweight on the duration strategies. So things can change very fast. You never know if indeed the India growth doesn't pick up and then RBI is forced to cut the rates by more than 25 basis points. Obviously there could be some short-term rally. But as of now it looks like overweight accrual and a bit underweight on the duration side. Oh, I think it's a very interesting point to discuss because typically when you look at accrual funds, the impression is that accrual fund just will buy a security and hold till maturity. But the good part is that if you can identify securities which will get upgraded over a period of time, it gives two advantages to accrual funds. To begin with, the accrual funds earns the higher yield because if you're buying a security which is rated a bit low, the yield on those securities are higher and therefore the accrual funds benefits from those higher yields. Over a period of time, if you see upgrade happening, then obviously the yields comes down and therefore if you can sell the securities in the market, you can make capital gains out of the securities. So accrual funds typically are known for coupon accrual, but you can see capital gains in this kind of funds when the security gets upgraded from a lower rating to higher rating. So ideally, if you can identify a few of them which gets upgraded, you sell them off, book a capital gain. Again, look at securities where we can see upgrade possibility. Luckily for us, if you look at for last 48 months for Franklin Templeton funds, our upgrade-downgrade ratio, if I'm not mistaken, is 28:1. Means we have seen 28 upgrades in our portfolio the last 4 years, and we have seen 1 downgrade in our portfolio. So that helps the fund to generate extra alpha. So accrual kind of funds earn alpha by two ways. First, you identify a security ahead of the market, and therefore the yield on those securities are higher. Second alpha is generated when you can sell the securities on upgrade and book some capital gains. So if you add up these two alphas, I think we can generate a significant return on accrual funds.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.